Alrighty, so we are going to do part 3 of the compound effect. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully you kind of remember where we left off. I've been taking notes on just one notebook. It's like right now it's my compound effect notebook. So all the little notes that I'm doing each week just kind of are lining up together rather than in multiple places. And so it looks like the last thing that I wrote down was the mosquito bite. So hopefully you guys remember kind of what that was about. It's not the elephant that bites you, it's the little things that are going to actually really affect you in the long run. So let's kind of pick up there and see what Mr. Hardy has for us today. Okay. Oh, that's right, I have to screen share. Okay.
Thanksgiving year-round. It's easy to point fingers at others, isn't it? I'm not getting ahead because of my lame boss. I would have gotten that promotion if it hadn't been for that backstabbing coworker. I'm always in a bad mood because my kids are driving me crazy. And we are particularly gifted in the finger-pointing department when it comes to our romantic relationships, where the other person is the one who needs to change. A few years back, a friend of mine was complaining about his wife. From my observation, she was a terrific lady, and he was lucky to have her, and I told him as much. But he continued to point out all the ways that she was responsible for his unhappiness. That's when I shared an experience that literally changed my marriage. One Thanksgiving, I decided to keep a Thanksgiving journal for my wife. Every day for an entire year, I logged at least one thing that I appreciated about her. It could be as simple as the way she interacted with her friends, how she cared for our dogs, the fresh bed she prepared, a succulent meal that she whipped up, or just the beautiful way that she styled her hair that day, whatever. I looked for the things my wife was doing that touched me, or revealed attributes, characteristics, or qualities that I appreciated. I wrote them all down secretly for an entire year. By the end of that year, I had filled an entire journal. When I gave it to her the following Thanksgiving, she cried, calling it the best gift she'd ever received, and even better than the BMW I'd given her that year for her birthday. The funny thing was this: the person most affected by this gift was me. All that journaling forced me to focus on my wife's positive aspects. I was consciously looking for all the things that she was doing right. That heartfelt focus overwhelmed anything that I might have otherwise had to complain about. I fell deeply in love with her all over again, maybe even more than ever, as I was seeing the subtleties in her nature and behavior instead of just her more obvious qualities. My appreciation, gratitude, and intention to find the best in her was something that I held in my heart and eyes each day. This caused me to show up differently in my marriage, which of course made her respond differently to me. Soon I had even more things to write in my Thanksgiving journal. As a result of choosing to take a mere 5 minutes every day or so to document all the reasons why I was grateful for her, we experienced one of the best years of our marriage, and it's only gotten better. After I shared my experience, my friend decided to keep a Thanksgiving journal about his wife. Within the first few months, he completely turned around his marriage. Choosing to look for and focus on his wife's positive qualities changed his view of her, which changed how he interacted with her. As a result, she made different choices about the way she responded to him. The cycle perpetuated, or shall we say, compounded. Let me jump off script here for a second. Before we move past the concept of gratitude, let me pass on a little tip Montel Williams shared with me that I've incorporated into my life that's really helped my mind focus on the abundance and blessings I enjoy. I use this strategy right before I go to sleep so that my mind spends the night conjuring up ways to create more abundance and blessings. Here's what Montel told me. He said, put a little piece of paper by your bed with a pen. I use a journal so I can archive these great thoughts. And before you go to sleep, I want you to write down 3 things that happened today that you're thankful for. And as I will explain later, I also write down any unique observations about people, life, or myself, or what I call aha ideas, quotes, or insights collected from the day. Another insight from John Maxwell is to not only identify and enjoy the feeling of being grateful, but also express that feeling to others. Let me read to you what he said to me backstage at an interview at one of our Success Symposiums. He said, Our attitude is a choice, and to be grateful is a choice. And I know a lot of people who have a lot of blessings that aren't really grateful. I also know a lot of people who have very little and are very grateful. So it's not what you have. It's not possessions. It's not where you've arrived positionally. I think it's a spirit, and the attitude of gratitude to me is saying there have been others in my life that have done things for me I couldn't have done for myself. And the way to express, I think, indebtedness to people is by being grateful to them. The person that says, well, I'm grateful, I've just never expressed it, that's not adding value to anyone. Key point, John. So the lesson here is not only look for what you appreciate, but give that appreciation to others. And as the saying goes, what you appreciate appreciates. Let's get back to the book. Owning 100%. We are all self-made men and women, but only the successful take credit for it. I was 18 when I was introduced to the idea of personal responsibility at a seminar, and that concept completely transformed my life. If you threw out the rest of this book and only practiced this one concept, within 2 or 3 years, the changes in your life would be so great, your friends and family would have a difficult time remembering the old you. In that seminar that I attended at 18, the speaker asked, what percentage of shared responsibility do you have in making a relationship work? Now, I was a teenager, so wise in the ways of true love, of course I had all the answers. 50-50, I blurted out. It was obvious, right? Both people must be willing to share the responsibility evenly or someone's going to get ripped off. 51-49, yelled someone else, arguing that you have to be willing to do a little bit more than the other person. Aren't relationships sacrifice and generosity? 80-20, yelled another. The instructor turned to the easel and wrote 100-0 on the paper in big black letters. You have to be willing to give 100% with zero expectation of receiving anything in return, he said. Only when you're willing to take 100% responsibility for making the relationship work will it work. Otherwise, a relationship left to chance will always be vulnerable to disaster. Whoa! This was not what I was expecting, but I quickly understood how this concept could transform every area of my life. If I always took 100% responsibility for everything I experienced, completely owning all of my choices and all the ways in which I responded to whatever happened to me, I held the power. Everything was up to me. I was responsible for everything I did, didn't do, or how I responded to what was done to me. I know you think you take responsibility for your life. I have yet to ask anyone who doesn't say, of course I take responsibility for my life. But when you look at how most people operate in the world, there's a lot of finger pointing, victimhood, blaming, and expecting someone else or the government to solve their problems. If you've ever blamed the traffic because you're late, or decided that you're in a bad mood because of something your kid, spouse, or coworker did, you're not taking 100% responsibility. You arrived late because your printer was busy? Maybe you shouldn't have waited until the last minute. Your coworker messed up the presentation? Shouldn't you have double-checked it before delivering it? Not getting along with your unreasonable teen? There are countless fantastic books and classes to help you learn how to deal. You alone are responsible for what you do, don't do, or how you respond to what's done to you. This empowering mindset revolutionized my life. Luck, circumstances, or the right situation wasn't what mattered. If it was to be, it was up to me. I was free to fly. No matter who was elected president, how badly the economy tanked, or what anybody said, did, or didn't do, I was still 100% in control of me. Through choosing to be officially liberated from the past, present, and future victimhood, I hit the jackpot. I had the unlimited power to control my destiny. Getting lucky. Maybe you believe you're simply just unlucky. But really, that's just another excuse. The difference between becoming fabulously rich, happy, and healthy, or broke, depressed, and unhealthy is the choices you make throughout your life. Nothing else will make the difference. Here's the thing about luck. We are all lucky. If you are on the right side of the dirt, have your health, and a little food in your cupboard, you are incredibly lucky. Everyone has the opportunity to be lucky. Because beyond having the basics of health and sustenance, luck simply comes down to a series of choices. When I asked Richard Branson if he felt luck played a part in his success, he answered, "Yes, of course. We're all lucky. If you live in a free society, you are lucky. Luck surrounds us every day. We are constantly having lucky things happen to us, whether you recognize it or not. I have not been any more lucky or unlucky than anyone else. The difference is when luck came my way, I took advantage of it." Spoken like a man knighted with wisdom. While we're on the topic, it's my belief that the old adage we often hear, luck is when opportunity meets preparation, isn't enough. I believe there are two other critical components to luck. The complete formula for getting lucky. Here's the formula. Preparation, personal growth, plus attitude, belief and mindset, plus opportunity, that good thing coming your way, plus action, doing something about it, equals luck. Let's go through them one by one. Preparation. By consistently improving and preparing yourself, your skills, knowledge, expertise, relationships, and resources, you have the wherewithal to take advantage of great opportunities when they arise, or as Richard Branson said, when luck strikes. Then you can be like Arnold Palmer, who told us in his Success Magazine feature February 2009, "It's a funny thing. The more I practice, the luckier I get." Attitude. This is where luck evades most people, and where Sir Richard is spot on with his belief that luck is all around us. It's simply a matter of seeing situations, conversations, circumstances as fortuitous. You cannot see what you don't look for, and you cannot look for what you don't believe in. Opportunity. It is possible to make your own luck, but the luck I'm talking about here isn't planned for, or it comes faster or differently than expected. In this stage of the formula, luck isn't forced. It's a natural occurrence and often shows up seemingly of its own accord. And action. This is where you come in. However, this luck was delivered to you from the universe, God, the Lucky Charms, leprechaun, or from whomever or whatever you associate delivering your good fortune. It's now your job to act on it. This is what separates the Richard Bransons from the Joseph Wallingtons. Joseph who? Exactly. You've never heard of him. That's because he failed to take action on all the lucky things that happened to him. So, no more whining about the cards you were dealt, the great defeats you suffered, or any other circumstances. Countless people have had more disadvantages and greater obstacles than you, and yet they're wealthier and more fulfilled. Luck is an equal opportunity distributor. Lady Luck shines on us all, but rather than having your umbrella drawn, you gotta have your face to the sky. When it comes down to it, it's all you, baby. There's no other way around it. The high price of tuition at UHK, University of Hard Knocks. Nearly a decade ago, I was asked to be a partner in a new startup venture. I invested a considerable sum of money into the deal and worked tirelessly on it for nearly 2 years before finding out that my partner had mismanaged and squandered all the cash. I lost more than $330,000. I didn't try to sue him. In fact, I lent him more money later for a personal situation. The bottom line was the loss was my fault. I agreed to be his partner without doing enough due diligence on his background and personal character. During our time in business, I wasn't inspecting what I was expecting. I could justify it by saying I trusted him, but the truth was I was guilty of being lazy by not watching the finances more diligently. Not only had I made the choice to start this relationship and business, but I also made the choices to ignore the obvious red flags and warning signs. Because I chose not to be completely responsible for the business, in the end, I was responsible for the results. When I learned of the wrongdoings, I chose not to lose any more time fighting it. Instead, I licked my wounds, learned my lesson, and moved on. In hindsight, I'd make the same choice to pick up and move on again today. I now challenge you to do the same. No matter what has happened to you, take complete responsibility for it. Good or bad, victory or defeat, own it. My mentor Jim Rohn said, "The day you graduate from childhood to adulthood is the day you take full responsibility for your life." Today is graduation day. From this day forward, choose to be 100% responsible for your life. Eliminate all of your excuses. Embrace the fact that you are freed by your choices, as long as you assume personal responsibility for them. It's time to make the choice to take control. Your secret weapon, your scorecard. I'm about to walk you through one of the single greatest strategies I've ever used in my personal development. This strategy helps me take control of the choices I make throughout the day, causing everything else to fall into place and leading to behaviors and actions that shepherd my habits in line like dutiful, loyal minions. Right this moment, pick an area of your life where you most want to be successful. Do you want to have more money in the bank? A trimmer waistline? The strength to compete in an Ironman event? A better relationship with your spouse or kids? Picture where you are in that area right now. Now picture where you want to be. Richer, thinner, happier, you name it. The first step towards change is awareness. If you want to get from where you are to where you want to be, you have to start becoming aware of the choices that lead you away from your desired destination. Become very conscious of every choice that you make today so you can begin to make smarter choices moving forward. To help you become aware of your choices, I want you to track every action that relates to the area of your life you want to improve. If you've decided you want to get out of debt, you're going to track every penny you pull out of your pocket. If you've decided you want to lose weight, you're going to track everything that you put into your mouth. If you decided to train for an athletic event, you're going to track every step you take, every workout you do. Simply carry around a small notebook, something you'll keep in your pocket or purse at all times, and a writing instrument. You're going to write it all down, every day, without fail. No excuses, no exceptions. As if Big Brother's watching you. As if my dad and I will come and make you do 100 push-ups every time you miss. It doesn't sound like much, I know, writing things down on a little piece of paper, but tracking my progress and missteps is one of the reasons I've accumulated the success I've had. The process forces you to become conscious of your decisions. But as Jim Rohn would say, what's simple to do is also simple not to do. The magic is not in the complexity of the task. The magic is in the doing of simple things repeatedly and long enough to ignite the miracle of the compound effect. So beware of neglecting the simple things that make the big things in your life possible. The biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not. Remember that. It'll come in handy many times throughout your life when faced with a difficult, tedious, or tough choice. Money trap. I learned the power of tracking the hard way after I acted like a colossal idiot about my finances. Back in my early 20s, when I was making a lot of money selling real estate, I met with my accountant. He said, "You owe well over $100,000 in taxes." "What?" I said. "I don't have that kind of cash just lying around." "Why not?" he asked. "You collected several times that. Certainly you set aside the taxes that would be due on that money." "Evidently I didn't," I said. "Where did the money go?" he asked. "I don't know," I said, a sobering confession for sure. The money had passed through my hands like water. I hadn't even noticed. Then my accountant did me a great favor. "Son," he said, looking me dead in the eyes, "you've got to get a grip. I've seen this 100 times before. You're spending money like a drunken fool, and you don't even know how to account for it. That's stupid. Stop it. You are now seriously in the hole. You have to earn more money that you'll owe additional taxes on just to pay for your back taxes. Continue this, and you'll dig your financial grave with your own wallet." Immediately, I got the message. Here's what my accountant had me do. Carry a small notepad in my back pocket and write down every single cent I spent for 30 days. Whether it was $1,000 for a new suit or 50 cents for air to fill up my tires, it all had to go down on the notepad. Wow. This brought an instantaneous awareness of the many unconscious choices I was making that resulted in money pouring out of my pockets. Because I had to log everything, I resisted buying some things just so I didn't have to take out the notepad and write it in that dang book. Keeping a money log for 30 days straight cemented a new awareness in me and created a completely new set of choices and disciplines around my spending. And since awareness and positive behaviors compound, I found myself being more proactive with money in general, putting away more for retirement, finding areas to save where there was clear waste, and enjoying the fun quotient of money, play money, all the more. When I did consider shelling out for entertainment, I did so only after a long pause. This tracking exercise changed my awareness of how I related to my money. It worked so well, in fact, that I've used it many times to change other behaviors. Tracking is my go-to transformation model for everything that ails me. Over the years, I've tracked what I eat, what I drink, how much I exercise, how much time I spend improving a skill, my number of sales calls, even improvement of my relationships with my family, friends, or my spouse. The results have been no less profound than my money tracking wake-up call. In buying this book, you're basically paying me for my opinion, my guidance. This is where I'm going to become kind of a hard ass and insist that you start tracking your behaviors for at least 1 week. This book isn't designed to entertain you. From some of my jokes, that's obvious. It's designed to help you get results. To get results, you have to take some action. You may have heard about tracking before. In fact, you've probably done your own version of this exercise. But I also bet you aren't doing it right now, right? How do I know? Because your life isn't working as successfully as you like. You've gotten derailed. Tracking is a way to get back on track. Do you know how casinos make so much money in Vegas? Because they track every table, every winner, every hour. Why do Olympic trainers get paid top dollar? Because they track every workout, every calorie, and every micronutrient for their athletes. All winners are trackers. Right now, I want you to track your life with the same intention, to bring your goals within sight. Tracking is a simple exercise. It works because it brings moment-to-moment awareness to the actions you take in the area of your life that you want to improve. You'll be surprised at what you will observe about your behavior. You cannot manage or improve something until you measure it. Likewise, you can't make the most of whom you are, your talents and resources and capabilities, until you are aware of and accountable for your actions. Every professional athlete and his or her coach track each performance down to the smallest minutia. Pitchers know their stats on every pitch in their repertoire. Golfers have even more metrics on their swings. Professional athletes know how to adjust their performances based on what they've tracked. They pay attention to what they record and make changes accordingly. Because they know when their stats improve, they win more games and earn more in endorsement deals. At any given moment, I want you to know exactly how well you're doing. I'm asking you to track yourself as if you are a valuable commodity, because you are. Want that idiot-proof system we talked about earlier? This is it. So regardless of whether you think you are aware of your habits or not, believe me, you're not, I'm asking you to start tracking. Doing so will revolutionize your life and ultimately your lifestyle.
Okay, perfect time to stop. All right, break this down a little bit. Okay, whether you think you are or you're not, trust me, you're not. Anybody else have to kind of giggle at that part? Okay, so, oh, Bubby, they know it's my birthday. They know. He comes up to me, he goes, Mom, no work on your birthday. I was like, I'm just having a meeting. He goes, no school either. You don't have to school when you're on it's your birthday. I was like, I think you're trying to get out of that now.
It's day off.
It's the day off. Oh yeah.
Do a field trip. Do a field trip for him.
Yes, that's right. Field trip. Okay, so let's break this down just a little bit and go over some of the things that he talked about. I love the idea of getting like a gratitude journal. I think that we've talked about things like that before. We've heard that before, that kind of concept of just finding and focusing on those little good things throughout the day and really shifting our mindsets from, instead of being, oh, I had the worst day today, right? I ate terrible today. But maybe you also got to sit with your husband and actually have like a full conversation, and you can really appreciate the fact that maybe it was over ice cream, but you got to spend some time with your family, and let's focus on the family time rather than, oh, I had ice cream, I'm beating myself up, right? So like, let's find a way to bring that gratitude to any situation, regardless of what it's from. Hey,
Guess what's your cake?
hey, we will talk after I'm done. Okay? I love you. Thank you. I know you're excited. Okay, so I love that idea of just getting like a gratitude journal, either right when you first wake up, or I kind of try to do it like, so I get my workout in and then I have a little bit of time in between here then and warrior hour. So like while I'm sitting down, I just try to like jot down 3 things in my little journal, which is over here. This is my little journal that I designated my little notebook as. And so I just jot like 3 things down in it. And I don't tend to do it every day, which now I'm kind of like, that's probably why I feel a little roller coaster-y as well, which is because I'm just not creating that consistency for myself like I need to. And so really just getting that down is like a daily action. And it takes me 5 minutes tops to put down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I bet actually if I did it every single day, I would get even faster, right? Because then you're spending all day, okay, I gotta write 3 things down. So let's be looking for 3 things. So when I get to that moment, I can just jot them down rather than having to think about them. So then you spend your day actually looking for things to be grateful for rather than sitting down and go, okay, what was I grateful for today? Because that's really, so the idea is to really be searching for them in the day. That way, when you sit down, you can already just go ahead and write those 3 things out. Okay, so make sure you're trying to get a gratitude journal or like a thankful journal or some way that you can really start to organize them. Because also, you guys, the best thing is looking at my journal and reading things from last week or reading things from a month ago that I was grateful for. Like, honestly, that's my favorite part, is like really revisiting those things that I said I was grateful for a week ago or a month ago or 6 months ago. That's kind of like my favorite part. And I love the idea of we're all self-made. Only the people that are successful want to take credit for it, though, right? Isn't that kind of an interesting thought, that like our choices automatically lined us up for success or for failure? Like, it is your choices that led you to one or the other or somewhere in between, but yet we only want to take credit for the good things. Like, oh well, yeah, that was me, but oh, that was because of so and so, because that, you know what I mean, like that didn't work out because so and so forgot to do something and da 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 da. But in reality, if it went nice, oh, you want to take all the credit for it. But we actually have to take credit, guys, for all the good things and all the bad things that are in our lives, because they are a direct correlation to our choices, habits, and daily lifestyles. So as much as we want to take credit for the good stuff, we have to be acknowledged and take credit for that bad stuff, even if we don't want to. And once we do, then you can own up to it, right? So once you actually take credit, oh, that probably was my fault. How can I maybe adjust in the future to stop that, or to really get something different from that result? Because when you don't take credit for it, what do? You keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? But when you take credit for it and you say, man, that was really my fault that didn't go right. How can I do things different in the future? How can I address that different in the future? Then you're moving to a solution rather than placing blame elsewhere. Okay, if you want something different, you're going to have to be willing to do something different. So if you want something different, you're going to have to be willing to acknowledge when you're not doing something correctly or when you need an adjustment over here. Okay. And taking full responsibility, regardless of good or bad, that's how you can start kind of creating that for yourself as well. Okay. I like, guys, when I first listened to the compound effect for the first time ever, and I heard that concept of it's not 50-50 in a relationship, it's 100 to 0. Like that, I remember when I learned that like 4 years ago, I went, oh shit. I didn't know that at all. Like I always thought like, oh, if I'm going to do this for you, it's because I want you to do this for me, and you do this for me, and so I want you to do this for me. And I always thought we all had to put in our 50-50, right? And well, I did this, but you didn't do this. Because I did this, I expected you to do this. And what does that do? That leaves us with, you know, the feel of failure and things like that. But if we just say, this is who I am, and this is what I do, I give 100 regardless of what you do. Regardless of whether you give 2%, 50%, 75, or 100, I give 100 because that's who I am. I don't care about what you do. And when you expect 0 as well. So I give 100 because that's who I am, and I expect nothing from you. So whether you give 2%, 5%, 100%, it's bonus. It's just bonus. Wow, you actually gave something back, but I wasn't expecting anything from you. And so our expectations are what kill the moment a lot of times, because we thought, oh, well, I gave my 50, you should be giving your 50. Well, and then the moment they give 49 in your eyes, it's like, it kills everything. But what if I said, I give 100 and I expect nothing from you? So anything you do is just bonus on top of that, or don't do. Then I don't have any expectations. I don't have any standards of what I think you should be doing. I have standards for myself of what I think I should be doing. Very different. Okay.
we used to actually tell people, or we used to say it all the time in our messages.
Yeah, 50-50.
50-50.
50-50.
And we thought that was like what it was supposed to be.
Yep.
I actually corrected someone the other day, and they were like, it should never be 50-50, or it can't be 50-50 all the time. And I was like, it's never supposed to be 50-50, because then you're both half-assing it, and like you're only putting in half the effort. If it's 100-100, nothing wrong happens.
Exactly. And so that was like a big shift. I remember that too. It was a huge shift in our relationship, to be honest, you guys. When I realized like, oh, Mike does the dishes because he just does the dishes. He's not doing the dishes, so I'll do the laundry. Right? Like it's an aspect of like, I do this because I like the house clean. I do the dishes because I like the house clean, not I'm doing the dishes to get her or him to do something else.
Exactly.
Okay. So, and it's a real shift in your mindset, but once you get it, once you click it, once you shift it, you're going to see things so differently. You do things because you like it, not because you're expecting things to come from the other side. And when you remove those expectations, it becomes very beautiful too for anything that you receive. Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, that right there, I was just thinking ties in with what he had said about what you appreciates. And kind of the same thing. Like I do the dishes so that he has clean dishes to cook with when he's ready to eat. So it kind of you put no expectations. Like you said, you're not disappointed. You're just happy with even that little bit. So just throwing that out there.
I love that. And it's so true too. Like what you appreciate will appreciate you back. And even if they don't, appreciate yourself even, you know, like I appreciate my own clean house, right? And it's not, I appreciate the house, and so I want him to appreciate the house too. And when he doesn't, I get mad. Like what kind of standards does that set for you? And so I love that too. You do it because you want him to, you know, to feel like he has clean dishes and like you're appreciative, but that comes from something you want, not because you're expecting him to acknowledge it, right? Like that's completely different. And there's a difference in when you go about it in a way that's for you, not for other people. Now it may benefit them, right? Of course, it benefits him to have clean dishes, but you clean those dishes because you enjoy seeing the sink with no dishes, right? So it takes a little bit of time to like mentally shift, but I remember being a very big shift in my own relationship and life. And it was actually really good to even hear the reminder today. Even though I've heard it a million times and I've heard this book a million times, it's still good to be like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what it's for. So I love that part. And I love just like, you're responsible for you 100%. You are responsible for your 100%, and only you know what your 100% is. And your 100% is not going to look like anybody else's 100%. Now, to even add on to that, I like to think everybody's doing their best. Everybody is trying their best. Everybody is putting in, maybe like, because I get really hard on people, like where I'm like, oh, you're only giving 75%, or like, I think that you could be giving more, and I'm like, come on, I know you can give more. But in reality, I try to step back and I go, maybe that is their 100%. Maybe I have higher standards for them and I think they could do more, but maybe in their mind, that is their 100%. Mike has a really hard time with this. Like Mike really struggles with like like when he thinks that they need to do 100%, it's like his 100, and I'm like, well, that's not their 100. You know, I was like, maybe what they're doing is their 100, and I
think it's their 40%.
But
I think that they're
Maybe
really,
all they can get to is the 40% that day, though. Each day is different for a lot of us. So they're trying for 100%. They're striving. It's perspective too. So it just depends on whether they're striving. That 40%, no, it's not 100%. It's not. But to them, that's all they can do.
yeah.
Or maybe if, in my eyes, if they treated that 40% like it was 100%, then I would respect it more, and I would
Understood? Yeah.
400.
That makes sense.
But when I say the 40%, I mean the people that literally aren't using that extra 60. I get so irritated. But then what I do is, even with wakeboarding, ask her, I get people that doubt me. You guys probably don't know, but I get people that are really huge in doubting me, but it's really just a doubt in themselves, because I know what I'm capable of and I know what they're not capable of, because they don't unlock that extra 60%. You know, they're not willing to, because they'll ask me, well, what do you have time for? All you do is wakeboard, workout, and this. And I'm like, well, that's kind of what I focus on. But I'm unlocking that extra percentage where they're sitting back not doing as much. So they're not getting as much out of it.
Mike is constantly let down by people. But he just thinks, but like, we both just see so much in people, and when we ever feel like they're not using their full potential, it really frustrates us. Like, it frustrates me when I see somebody and I'm like, oh my God, you could be so much better, and you're just allowing yourself not to be.
Like, if I go to Home Depot, okay, for instance, and I ask someone, for me to ask in the first place, I'm just looking for human interaction. I probably already know, but I go, hey, you know, where is this? And they're like, let me call someone. That to me is bullshit. That's the 40% that I can't stand, because you should have product knowledge. What the hell else are you doing with your time while you're sitting there except for rotting away? You should know aisle 14, bay 7, because the moment you do, you stand out. You become the manager. People notice that, not just the people walking down the aisles. And in my eyes, the people that don't do that, I justify it. I'm like, that's why you're unfortunately only a cashier on third shift and not the manager of 3 locations. It's because you don't put in that little bit. So like, yeah, I am
passing on responsibility.
I'm ridiculously let down. But every now and then I have faith in a lot of people, and I'm let down again, and I have a lot more faith. But I do. I have, and Jenny knows, and unfortunately sometimes she succumbs to the pressure, but I have high standards for the gallons. I have high expectations for myself every day, that even there are some times that you may seem let down on yourself, but you really got to look at it from an amazing point and see what you have done instead of the little small list of what you haven't done.
Yeah.
You have to remember to do that. Even though I'm really hard, you know, we had a conversation yesterday. I said, I'm tired of how Derek's talking to his mother. It could be 1 out of 5 days that he does this, but that's not okay to me in my mind. But we should look at the other 4 days that he's an amazing child and doesn't have that problem. Yes, I agree. But on the other end, there's that one day. I don't play.
Yeah. It's a hard kind of like line, you know, to expect things from people, but then also not to expect things from people. It's hard as a coach position because I see potential in people that they don't see in themselves, right? And so I'm trying to like bring it out of them. Like, you know, I know when like Tennille first joined, she was like, I don't know if I can do this whole coaching thing. And I was like, dude, I see you as a diamond coach. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, stop that whole doubting stuff. Like, let's move on, you know? And then she's like, I kind of had to like encourage her a little bit, like, dude, you totally can do this. And then she was like, oh my God, I totally can do this, you know? And it took a second to like really build that confidence. So it's tricky in a coaching position to believe in somebody when they don't believe in themselves, but it is worth it. Like, you really can like build people up and help them understand that they're capable of so much more. But we also can't be let down by somebody who doesn't reach our standards, right? Like, so we have to find that balance somewhere in between, especially when it comes to coaching people, because I will tell you right now, there will be people that say they want it all or say that they want to go for it, and then they come up with excuses, and you're going to be like, but you said that you wanted this and now you're making excuses, you know what I mean? So you're going to have issues sometimes when it comes to coaching of where you want the best for people, but maybe they're just not ready for it either. So you're going to have to kind of coach them and build their confidence. So it's kind of a tricky situation, but I don't want you to be let down by somebody that said, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds, and then they quit a program, you know? But you can recognize where they're at and really help build their confidence and have them try it again. So it's interesting when it comes to coaching of just trying not to let people affect you, right? You have to keep that kind of like grounding and barrier a little bit and just say, well, I still believe in you. I still believe that you're capable of more. I believe that you're capable of better, but you need to decide that for yourself in a sense as well. Okay. So it's 9:07. So I'm just going to, I don't think there's, I'll just like read what I wrote down. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Remember that, you guys. If it is meant to be, it's up to you. Like, you have to make it happen. When luck comes, capitalize on it. Don't miss those opportunities to say yes. Don't second guess those opportunities sitting in front of you that are going to pass you by. When luck comes, capitalize on it. Inspect what you expect. Okay, if you expect something, make sure you are inspecting it and keeping track of it. Hold on, can you guys wait? Take full responsibility of your life and take control of it. You are in control of your life. Awareness is number one. Being aware is number one. Discipline is be willing to do the difficult stuff. Don't be afraid of the hard work. That's very important. Okay. Get a grip on your finances. I wrote that down for myself. Track anything you want to improve. So anything you want to improve, just like nutrition. We were talking about this in the beginning, you know, getting a planner, really tracking what you're putting in your mouth, watching what you're doing each week, seeing if you can find patterns. Like, oh my gosh, it seems like every day at 2 o'clock I want cookies. You know, what is that? Why is that? Why is it going on? I didn't even realize I was doing it. It's just every time I saw my notebook, I noticed at 2 o'clock I was eating cookies, but I didn't even know that until I was writing it down every day. Yeah, tracking, take action and take measures. Okay?
Hey, girls.
Hey, girls.
What?
If you can, probably can't. I see 2 of you are at work, but join us in. We're going to sing
Singing
happy birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday
to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to
Birthday
you.
to you.
Happy birthday.
Birthday
Happy birthday to you.
22.
22. Yeah.
23.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks for both. That was so funny because you guys' voices were coming through at different times. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it very much.
Love you, Jenny.
Love you too, girls. I love you too. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys and all that you do and all that you provide for us. And literally, it's unbelievable. I can't thank you guys enough. Hey, Alicia, nice to see your face. We just went through the compound effect. So I did record it though. So maybe you can hop back on and watch the recording of it. But other than that, ladies, we do have the Push to Diamond training. Feel free to jump in there. Or just kind of maybe even if you didn't get a chance, revisit some of the coach training and the coach basics or the Emerald training. Know that tomorrow is our first like working time. So my plan is to come here, bring my power hour, and sit down and work for the whole hour. I'm going to do a post. I'm going to do my Instagram stories. I'm going to friend request people, add people into my clean eating group, post in the challenge group, maybe do some follow-ups on this list of people that I have over here. I really just want to, so we've done the development, right? Like you guys are ready and mentally like done the development. You're doing the workouts. We're working on the nutrition. But the actions when it comes to working your coach business, I think is our next step, right? Like, how do I reach out to people? How do I add people into a group? How do I really get moving on these small little things? And we can start using the compound effect to start bringing that into light, okay? Doing just a few friend requests every day, doing just a few messages every day. And over the course of a month, how many messages are we sending out? 30 messages. And so I really want to start putting the compound effect into play in our lives, but I want to do it with you guys. I don't want to just say, okay, go apply the compound effect. Good luck. Right? Oh, here's your power hour. Good luck. I'm going to be here doing it with you guys. And I think that's really going to set some standards and set some difference, and you can actually be like, hey Jenny, you're right here, who can I friend request today? How can I find some friend requests today? And then I can like walk you through it as you're doing it, rather than like you're sitting over there by yourself trying to do it and you're like, oh, I'll just message her later, right? Like we're in it, we're in the moment. And so I really like that. So the compound effect, Alicia, it's so good, girl. It's gonna change your life. It's amazing. It's like literally, like once it's in your head, you can't get it out. It's like the 5-second rule. Once the 5-second rule is in your head, you can't ignore it. Once the compound effect is in your head, you can't ignore it, because you look at every little thing you do throughout the day, either feeding or fighting your goals, and it's like, oh, because it's in your head once it's there. So awesome, lady. Well, I think we listened to about an hour in. So if you want to kind of catch up to that, awesome. If not, you could always catch the recording or whatever. But thank you, ladies. I appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming on my birthday. I love, yeah, it was kind of cool. It started out with a workout. Now I got some personal development. I'm feeling all like flighty and good. And now I can just like enjoy the rest of my day. So thanks, ladies. I hope you have a good day. I'll talk to you guys soon, okay? All right. Bye.